What do you think is the recipe to a good relationship?
The key is to realize the strengths and the weaknesses of the person that you're in a relationship with and love them. And where they have weaknesses, do not belittle them, but help them. Maybe you can do it better. That's okay. Do not belittle them for you doing something better. Say, here, let me help you.
Yo, Jordan, what's it? I feel like it's been like a week or something since I last spoke to you.
It's all right.
Why you always damn eating?
I'm a growing man. I don't know.
Shit, I'm a
What's up,
grown man, but damn, I got boobs, I got a belly, and a fat ass. Only thing I'm seeing grown is these numbers on the weight scale. Either way.
I just lost some weight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm under 200 pounds now.
Oh, must be nice. I don't think I've been under 200 pounds since 1990, and I was born in 1987. I came out a big baby.
Big baby X. Big
baby X. There you go. But no. But, you
What's
know,
up, bro?
you already know. We like bringing in guests. And today I thought we'd bring in a nice guest to continue our interview of different types of individuals all across the world. Because we podcasting all over the world. No. But no, we dead ass. We brought in another individual to talk about themselves as well as what they do, get a little bit more information about, relationships. So on this episode of Two Shades of Black.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be breaking down some relationship conversations. We're going to be breaking down individuals' lives, what they do, the pleasures of what they do. And, I might get a little messy. I like to get a little messy. When I mean messy, ask those hard questions. But I won't ask them too hard, I hope she's ready too, because sometimes I don't even know the questions that's going to come out. They just come out. And, we don't ever get pre-approval on what questions we're allowed to ask and what not to ask. So it is what it is.
All right. Well, let's bring her on.
All right, so let's bring her on. The individual that we're bringing on is Miss Katrina Thicc. Welcome to Two Shades of Black. You know this
Thank
gentleman
you.
over here, Jordan. I'm Xavier, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you up on here. So I really do appreciate you coming out and blessing us with your presence. You see how I did that, Jordan? You see how I can fluff things and make people feel welcome? I need you to do that next time, sir. No, just kidding. All right, let's kick it off. Because I know we have Miss Katrina for a short period of time. So I want to go ahead and just dive right into it like swan, like a humpback whale. So real quick, let's get everybody a little background of who Miss Katrina Thicc is.
I would be happy to. I am a wife and a mother, and a grandmother, actually. As of
grandmother?
Yes, I have a 1-month-old little granddaughter.
Oh, congratulations. My land, congratulations.
Thank you. So cool. I have 2 kids, and I've been married for 22 years. I'm 41, and I'm a business owner and an entrepreneur.
Okay, I didn't think you was 41, but dang, girl, okay, I see what you're doing. Okay. All right.
And I have a chicken tender. I have chickens, too, which I love my chickens.
All right, so let me ask real quick. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh my God, that is I ask myself that every morning when I go out to feed them.
Who got here first?
So my question is, which one is it though?
Yeah, well, Miss Farm Lady.
I'm gonna say the chicken because I have yet to get a chick. No, I'm gonna say the egg. The egg comes first because you have to raise the chickens.
Yeah, but how did the egg get? But how did the egg come though? You can't egg don't just come out of thin air. But a chicken don't actually come out of thin air either.
It's God created the magic of it. That's what it is.
So chicken was on Noah's Ark.
Yeah, that's
One or
it.
two of them, though.
That's it. And it was two. It had to be two. There had to be a rooster.
Well, yeah, of course. You can't get an egg without the. Well, can chicken give eggs
Yes, you
without the rooster?
can. I get eggs every day, and I don't have a rooster.
Oh, what
That
such
chicken be
lonely
doing
women.
something. That chicken be. I don't know. That chicken.
She
escaped.
leaving the yard. She live in the
Yeah,
yard.
that
That's all it
chicken's
is.
definitely leaving the yard. That chicken's leaving the yard. There's no way.
All right, Miss Thicc. What does a normal day in a life of Miss Thicc look like?
Well, I start my day by feeding the animals.
Do you
And
go
I go
out
feed
in
my
like your rain boots and everything?
yes,
Ooh.
yes, my
How many
Crocs.
chickens? How many chickens?
I have 9.
Oh, damn, you got a farm, girl.
Yeah. 9 chickens and 3 dogs, and so I get everything ready, get all the food ready, and I write in my journal every morning. I make breakfast.
Very therapeutic.
Yes, yes, I love it. I go to the gym, and I'm actually starting a new business right now. And so I'm working on getting that going. It's slow. It's a slow, like when you start a business, it takes forever to like get the ball rolling and feel like you're actually making progress.
Oh, trust me, we know.
We know. We know.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me.
I'm the man of many creative thoughts, but yeah, getting them off the ground is the hardest.
It really is. It really is.
Okay.
Am I the only one that ever feels when you're working on something and somebody goes, "Oh, your little business or project that you're working on"? Like, does that? I'm like, does that bother you guys? Because like when someone tries to say little or that little thing you're working on, that kind of grinds my gears. It's like you're trying to make something that I'm working on smaller.
I
I'm
don't
like,
think it
it's not a
bothers
little
me.
project.
It doesn't bother me because it's not a big project, because at the end of the day, it is a little project until I make it big. At the end of the day, to me in itself, unless it's at a point of no return. And what I mean by a point of no return, I've now invested a substantial amount of money, time, and resources into it, as well as now I have other individuals on staff. It's no longer a little project. But if it's like me, myself, and I, and it's coming off the ground, in my mind, yes, it's little. But that's also my mentality because I've also created and sold in the past.
I guess so. I mean, I personally just don't like when someone tries to belittle me, personally. What about you, Katrina?
And I guess it depends on the intention. If you know the person's intention is to belittle you, then yes, that's a little different. But if it's someone I don't know and they're like, oh, okay, you got a little business going, I don't know if they're trying to belittle me. But best assured, my petty side would come out if they're trying to belittle me.
I asked Katrina.
I think it's all about perspective. I mean, I don't really have people. I don't know if anybody's ever really said that to me before. Like, you have a little business, like, and I don't think I would. Probably just depends on my mood. But the way I'm kind of thinking now is, I really try to not get offended by anything that anybody says to me, because everybody has their own perspective. And like, if you have a friend and they just heard, they heard you say you're starting a new business, to them, they have a whole world going on. They have their problems, they have their struggles, they have things they're thinking about. So to them, they don't really realize what you have planned for it. Like for me, for instance, like, I have big plans for my business. The other people, they have no clue. They would have no clue. You know what I mean? What I have planned. So I just try to stay in my own my own manifestation, my own bubble. Don't let anybody else mess with it.
So you mentioned that you're married, and you've been married a whopping 22 years. I'm sorry.
22. Mm-hmm.
What is the recipe? Because some motherfuckers in today's society could barely get to 1, 2, 3 years. You done got to 22 years. So I'd love to know from you, Katrina, what do you think is the recipe to a good relationship or a marriage?
You know, that is a really great question, and I think I may be close to the actual answer. I think I may have got it figured out.
Okay.
And I think that in the society, in the world that we live in, it's women against men. It's women trying to prop themselves up, and it's men trying to prop themselves up. And things have gotten very confusing. You know what I mean? We're supposed to work together. Men and women are supposed to be teammates. We complete each other. That's
Mm-hmm.
my personal opinion.
Right.
Um, so I would say that in order to have a long, successful marriage, of course, there's going to be difficulties, but I think at the core of it, the intention of the relationship needs to be that we are team. We are a team, and where I am not good at things, it's okay if you're better at me. The key is to realize the strengths and the weaknesses of the person that you're in a relationship with and love them. And where they have weaknesses, do not belittle them, but help them. Maybe you can do it better. That's okay. Do not belittle them for you doing something better. Say, here, let me help you. Serve each other where you have a talent, where you're good at something. Try and impress. I have been married for 22 years, but I love impressing my husband. I
Okay.
love to impress him. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you feel
and
that
he
that's still
loves
your full
impressing.
time job?
I'm sorry?
Do you still feel like that's your full time, like that's the skill and full time job, being married 22 years later, that you still have to keep that upkeep of impressing him?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It is, and it's reciprocal. And that is what the beautiful thing is. Because I know that whenever I go out of my way for my husband and show him that I have gone out of my way, he will do the same thing for me. And it makes you
Nice.
want to do that. It makes you want to do that for someone because you know that they did something for you. And, I've been married for 22 years. I got married when I was 19 years old. Okay. I'd never lived alone.
Where are
I,
you from?
I
Hold on. Because you don't hear it very often that people get married at 19 in today's society. That tells me that, and this is going to be my assumption, my ignorance and all, and I like to throw that out every now and then. But my question begs is this: are you Mormon or are you from the South? Because I don't really hear from the Northern people, unless you might be Midwest, that y'all get married at such a young age. Everybody feels like now in today's society, I have a whole life to live. Why tie my hitch
yeah,
to one wagon?
yeah, yeah. That is the opposite. Okay, of the mentality than you need to have. I'm telling you, I got married at 19 years old, and I had my first baby when I had just turned 20.
Did you get married
Um,
because you was pregnant?
nope. I got pregnant 3 months after. Actually, yeah, I got married. I got pregnant 3 months after we got married. We had been trying for a year before we got married to have a
Hmm.
baby, and I
High school
wasn't able to get
sweethearts?
pregnant. I'm sorry?
High school sweethearts?
Yes.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So
We
wait.
actually we first started dating in 8th grade.
Oh
Oh wow.
my. Okay, Topanga and Corey. Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely some Boy Meets World stuff right here. Holy,
Okay.
holy smokes.
But
Holy
okay.
smokes.
So you still haven't answered my question. You ain't got to give the state or the city. I'm just curious in the region, because just like we have the United States, it's like Europe. Everybody has their different preferences in the way their life is lived.
Yeah.
My
Uh-huh.
ignorance is telling me that it's typically, I'm not gonna think Mormon because I don't know if you got sister wives, but at the end of the day, I'm curious if you're from like the corn fed fields, or are you from like the South? Because that's like that mentality of get married young. It's like within the Bible Belt, all of that, etc.
She
Mhm.
has chickens. That's the answer right there.
There
I
you
beg to differ.
go.
No, I know some suckers, some Dominicans up in New York that got chickens in their little coop in the backyard. So don't just say
What was the
it's
word?
Southern and
What was the
Midwest.
first word you used?
Dominican. She ain't
Okay.
Dominican though. She ain't
but she ain't from.
Dominican.
But she ain't from the north.
I don't know. She could be Canadian.
I mean, maybe.
All right, I'll let her answer. Go ahead. Let us know where you from or where you were raised.
I was raised in a very small town in Missouri.
Yeah, that explains a lot. She from the Ozarks, y'all.
That's right.
Where they
I'm from
slinging all
Missouri.
that powder. Well, she's from Missouri.
Yes. There was no. I didn't. The show, the Ozark. That's what it looked like where I grew up, but we never had anything exciting like that happen.
So real quick,
It was a good show.
and you know it's story time for me. Real quick.
Here we go.
My experience in Missouri wasn't the best. And it was always because I did the whole Ozark, went to the boathouse and spent like a week in the boathouse of the Ozark. Y'all motherfuckers out there ain't friendly to people my tone.
Wow.
Yeah, I met this nice brunette girl out in Florida. She took me back to her hometown, and her hometown didn't really, appreciate my kindliness and my looks. Nothing to take away from Missourians. There's a lot of good people in Missouri, but the Ozark ain't as great for everybody as they like to put their house prices as.
Alrighty.
Okay.
She's like, I don't know how to answer this.
Me either.
So my question is to you. Being from a small town, you found your man at eighth grade. What is the dating culture like in the Missouri area that while you were being raised? I guess that's what I'll ask.
The dating culture, my experience dating was in high school. And I didn't really date, but I didn't date around or anything. But
you was already married in 8th grade.
Yeah, I really didn't really have boyfriends very much. I was really like a very Southern Baptist kind of goody two shoes girl. So like I had a couple boyfriends, but as far as dating culture, I would say that it was just, what the boy you thought was cute or the girl that would put out. I mean, it was just typical high school dating,
Okay. So then I guess in this question I'll ask, what do you feel now that you've been married 22 years? You have a lot to see. Your child now has a child. You have 2 children. What do you see based off of your children and today's society? What are your thoughts on today's dating culture compared to how you were back then?
I would say it's changed. Well, I would say dating for adults, definitely. I don't know about high school kids, but like for adults, dating is so completely different because everything is done online through apps and people. I don't feel like, which like I said, like I know people, like I know women who are kind of like on the dating scene, and that's what they say is like it's just the apps, and like how are you supposed to actually pick a partner from these apps? I mean, it really is like it's like a losing battle. You know what I mean? I feel like people who actually find someone from an app is like a miracle. It's like a needle in a haystack.
No, I
don't have that problem, but I bet he does. He's Mr. Lonely, so that's unfortunate for him.
Here's what I tell Jordan. Jordan always has this idea that life is easy. He's light skinned. This is the way I look at it.
God.
He is light skinned. I call him the gateway drug. And what I mean by the gateway drug, he's like the weed. He's like, the little bit of edibles. You don't feel like you're doing any bad drugs. So he's like that in between. See me? I'm like black tar heroin. I'm like all the way at the other end of the spectrum of sober. I'm dark. So it's like I can't, he can be passed as like, oh, my mama might be white and my daddy might be black. If her parents don't know. You can't say that about me. I was at the end of the slave field. I was at the back of the slave field near the river. So I'm not.
What does this have to do with anything?
What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. For him, dating is a little bit easier because if I'm going into the pool of white women, and I'm in the South, I'm in Florida, so I'm based in the South. My upbringing in dating has been a lot of conversion. Think of me as the pastor who's trying to bring people to their denomination. I had to going to college. I had a lot of girls that I was interested in. Was my parents wouldn't accept this, or this isn't right. But I definitely had a roommate who was as light as him, maybe a little lighter. They were fine dating it because it always felt like they didn't go all the way. They tiptoed into the water. You get what I mean, Katrina?
That's an interesting perspective.
You've never heard that perspective before?
I mean, that's if like I've heard people say things like that before, but it's a personal perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one way to look at it, I will say.
Okay. All right, we'll get back to it.
No, let's not get back to that.
I meant her marriage.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
We'll get back. I digress. We'll get back to we'll get back to it. So, I don't know how much you want to detail as far as what type of man your husband is, or whatever the case may be. We've had previous.
I could talk about my husband all day long. So
yeah, let me talk. Let's brag about your hubby.
Okay, so let's talk. What are some of the qualities you like in that? See, it's a little more difficult for me because I'm used to speaking to individuals who've had a dating past, who's been in the like single for a while and they've been married a short time or single. So when I ask these questions, they kind of ask, all right, what is your dating type? What is your ideal guy? But you've been married for 22 years. So your ideal guy has been the same guy, and that's what fuels your relationship.
No, that is not been the same guy. People change.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I thought when you said not the same guy, I'm like, how do you switch a marriage in the middle of a marriage?
Yeah, that would be.
Let's get this guy out of left field.
I've been married 22 years, not by the same person, but
yeah, exactly.
But his brother.
Okay. We're into the other same marriage.
So elaborate on that, what you mean by not the same guy. So I'm assuming, I'm not going to assume. So elaborate what you mean by it's not the same guy.
Well, whenever you're a teenager and, so he was raised completely different than me. I was raised, I had a mom and a dad who was at home with me every day and they went to work and it was pretty normal. And he didn't have that kind of growing up. He had a very dysfunctional family growing up. And so we are like exact opposites. And, so we got married really young. But back then, whenever I was, what drew me to him was his sense of humor. Because he always made me laugh. Like I laughed at everything the man ever said. He could make me, and the funny thing is he still makes me laugh every single day, multiple times. Every time we get together, we're laughing. And I will say, I feel like that was been like the fortifier of our marriage, of our relationship, was that he could always make me laugh. And I was always sweet. I've always been sweet. You know what I mean? And even whenever and there's certain qualities that we have as people, regardless from when we're kids all the way growing up. You know what I mean? Like we have certain qualities, but our personality changes so much during that time. If we do what we're supposed to, and we learn from life and we learn lessons and become better people as we grow, then we're two completely different people than, when we first got married. But there are certainly things that have been the same throughout. And, things like he's always told me the truth. He's never lied to me. Even when I didn't want to hear it, even if it wasn't the nicest thing. Okay. He's a very passionate person with a type A personality. He's a masculine, like manly man, you know what I'm saying? Like he's that kind of man. He says what he means what he says, and he's very straightforward. He knows how to like put me kind of in my place, if you know what I'm saying. Like if I am And I need that. And I know, like, I know what you're thinking, but I need that sometimes. And it actually calms me down because I know I don't have to worry. I don't have to get flustered. I don't have to get anxious. I don't have to get worried. I depend on him. He is responsible, and I trust him. No matter what, I know he has my best interest at heart. He loves me more than any other person on this planet, and I trust him in that way. And I
Oh, that's
literally trust
beautiful.
him.
That's beautiful.
Trina, let me ask you something else. You said that you saw him change, right? And as he
Mhm.
grew as a person, and without these 22 years of your marriage, what would you say that you've changed on, given the fact that where you're at now as a, grandma? Congratulations on that. But just you as a person as a whole now, like what has changed on for you for those past 22 years?
I would say my confidence as a person. I've always been like a very kind of ditzy, uh, fun, goofy,
I
you know,
still see that.
like never serious, like that's how I've always been growing up. And
Yeah.
so a lot, like growing up, a lot, I was told that I was stupid. Like
Mm.
they
Oh,
would just tell me that I was stupid. I was just not dumb or like anything, but I was just, oh my God, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. Oh, Katrina, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. That just like that, it
in a
wasn't
like
like me.
endearing way. It wasn't like in a savage
Yeah.
way.
It wasn't,
Okay.
yeah, they weren't trying, but they were my friends, and everybody always just told me that I'm ditzy. And so I kind of grew up thinking that I wasn't a strong person or that I wasn't a smart person.
All you really had going for you was your goofiness that drew
Yeah.
people in.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I know what that feels like.
Mm-hmm. And so I would say that having like a self-awareness
Mhm.
that I would always do like I went to a 4-year college and I graduated with a bachelor's degree. So thank you. On a whim
Wait,
too.
what'd you graduate with?
Never used it.
What'd you graduate with?
A bachelor's in healthcare management.
And you're right, you never used it.
Never used it, so couldn't tell you anything about it. Still need to pay for it.
ain't that ain't that something?
I think we all do. I think they're all coming for us.
It's criminal. They'll give anybody loans
Of
Yeah.
for
course,
How
that's
much
how
you
the
student
need?
bank
loans.
seventy
works.
thousand for a year. 70,000. Yeah, go ahead. I'll put him in debt for 55 more years of his life.
Yes,
Great.
Absolutely.
seriously.
You know it's
It's
harder to
crazy.
get a loan for a business than it is to get for a car. Do you know why
Is
that
it?
Oh, I
is?
I believe it. Well, I
Yes,
They don't
think
want you to
because
succeed.
for a business, you have to have like a plan. Like you have to show that your business is going to be viable. For a car, that just if you have I see your point. Like even if you have a cosigner, as long as they
so
can put it on somebody.
exactly. So if I want $100,000 car
Uh huh.
and it's a depreciating value as soon as I drive it off of a lot, oh,
Hmm.
we're quick to give you that loan as long as you have the credit. But as soon as I'm like, I have a business that is going to make tenfold what I have now, and I need $100,000, you're going to scrutinize. You're going to go through everything until you give me that money, and even then, I may have to go to multiple banks in order to give that money. You have more banks that are willing to give a car loan than that is actually going to be giving a business loan. If you look at some banks, they also don't deal in business for a particular reason. Because how do banks make money? It's off their interest.
Hmm.
But that's
But
besides the
also,
point. I digress.
can I give you another perspective though?
Go ahead.
Of course.
If they didn't do that, do you know how many people would go to banks wanting a loan for a business? Like a lot of people.
And you know
The
how
thing is,
wealthy, but do you know how well off the world in America would be if there were more entrepreneurs than there were people that actually went and just got a W-2?
I mean, I feel like it's probably more complicated than just that. Like, there's a lot more things that go into it than just how much money the bank loaning
The
you money. It takes a lot more than just money to start a business. And if you're going to start a business, you have to be willing to put in the work and to hear no multiple times because otherwise more people would do it. But it's hard and it takes a long time. and you hear a lot of no's. But the thing that gets businesses going is just the time and doing it over and over and over again until you get it right. If you have a business and you really believe in it, it could never fail, because you just, every obstacle you come up, you find a workaround.
I think that's the best optimism you can have.
There are some optimistic individuals out here. All right, back to relationships. Provide me your definition of what you believe is emotional intelligence.
I believe that emotional intelligence is understanding that your emotions are actually something that you control.
Okay.
Instead of reacting to things.
Okay. And now my question to you, is that important in your significant other?
Yeah. If I don't feel like, I feel like people who don't have emotional intelligence, and I know this because I've done it for years, and it's like hitting your head against a brick wall trying to communicate with someone who has zero emotional intelligence, and everything that you say, you have to say it in a specific way with a specific tone, has to be the perfect recipe. You have to say it exactly the way they want to hear it, or else they are going to shut you down, and they're going to get offended, and they're going to shut you off, and they're going to do all the things. That is not emotional intelligence. I feel like with two people who have emotional intelligence can come together with a situation, whatever it is, that is very difficult. And you might have butterflies in your stomach because it's a difficult conversation. But if you have two emotionally intelligent people, they can calmly talk to each other. And if there's something that they don't understand, they can say, can you explain that to me? Can you explain that to me in different terms? It's like taking the time and not reacting to things in an emotional intelligence way. I have a lot of emotional intelligence.
But hold on. My question now is going to get deeper.
Unless I'm PMSing.
That's your disclaimer right there, Katrina.
Yes.
Just an FYI. If she's PMSing, stay the fuck away. Leave her the hell alone.
So, okay, then my question is to you, because you stated this earlier. Sometimes your husband has to put you in your place.
Uh-huh.
Does that, in those situations, is that mostly the PMS disclaimer you gave me? Or my question is to this, if someone has to put you in your place, then the emotional intelligent capacity of it is telling you you're not recognizing your emotions in that given moment.
Yeah, I would say he puts me in my place less often. Like, I'm not belligerent in any stretch of the imagination. I am not belligerent. I do not yell and scream maybe once every couple months I do something weird like that, but it's like very, very rarely. But whenever I say put me in my place, I mean, like, he could just, like, say, Katrina, I've got it under control. Go do this, and I'll do this. It's fine. Okay, thank you. I will do that. I'll focus on what I need to focus on.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That was what was not concerning, but my curiosity was going. My next question is to be vulnerability. How vulnerable can your husband be with you? You say you guys talk about everything. Now, 22 years of marriage, there has to be some trial and tribulations. You just don't win through 22 years of marriage. It just doesn't happen. I'm sure your marriage has been tested time and time again. Now, the question you said, in today's society, men are more vulnerable, is what I'm going to use, more vulnerable with their emotions and speaking forth about their emotions. In the past, men were men's men. You mentioned your husband was a man's man. So now my question to you is, do you believe your husband can be vulnerable in front of you? And what do you consider vulnerability at the level? And then I have a secondary question I'll ask after.
Okay. I like the questions. They're good. Yes, I am probably the only person that he can be vulnerable with.
And what does vulnerability look like, though? Because we can say vulnerable can be different. It's very subjective to the individual. But what I mean, like, if we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, is your husband able to be vulnerable where he can cry in front of you. He can
Yeah,
come and
like
tell
not
you
like
all of his faults and
like
where.
some people. Let me just
No, go
like
ahead. Go
some
ahead.
people would be like having a vulnerable day would be like, hey babe, today sucked at work. We want to know is like as a man's man because you say he's a masculine man. Can he be like, ooh, who and right in your bosom? Like I am hurting. Like today
Mhm.
is a rough. Like I need a hug. Like tears coming down his eyes. Like not something where it's like you lose a family member like crying, right? But something
Mhm.
where it's like today just fucking sucked. Today was so bad. I just need you right now. I don't have no one else. Like you're my partner. You're my soulmate. Can
Mhm.
he be that vulnerable with you?
Yeah, he absolutely could be that vulnerable with me, but
Has
there
he
has
been that
never
vulnerable with you?
that's what I was gonna say. There has never been a day where he cried because he had a bad day. He's never cried because he had a bad day. He maybe I have seen him cry in 22 years. Maybe I've seen him. Okay, I would say the most recent time that he's been vulnerable was a couple of years ago. He had deviated septum. So he had a deviated septum for about 15 years, and he didn't sleep. He couldn't sleep. I, I mean, every night he couldn't sleep for more than like 2 or 3 hours at the very longest for 15 years. He would cry like he's cried before because he was so tired that he could not sleep. And he just was so frustrated because he was so tired. He hadn't slept for like a week, and he was still trying to like drive around and go to work and do all the things. And he cried.
He's like
Um
mentally like broke down.
yes.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
that means he had no choice. He was
Mm.
at that peak.
Yes.
Okay. Then my question into you, without having, and I want you to think about it this way. And I'm not trying to draw a wedge. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm
You
just a
could.
thought. Good. I'm glad I couldn't. I'm glad that's the kind of answer I want to hear, baby. That's the kind of
Exactly.
answer I want to hear.
Ladies,
But my
take notes. Make Marilyn watch this episode.
but here's the question that I have. Because you said he hasn't been, and not everybody cries. Not everybody has that hard emotional feeling, and that's perfectly fine. But the question I want you to ask yourself in this question, is my husband withholding information so that he doesn't come off vulnerable? Like, because he's that man's man, I'm in that same position because the way I was raised by my father, a woman can't see the weakness in me because once they see that weakness, it kind of turns the tides. And what I mean by turns the tides, I'm broken a little bit inside, and I know I'm broken inside. But turning that tide of allowing a woman that I care for to see me in my most vulnerable moment makes me feel like they're going to start to feel I can't protect this house. I'm more
Mm.
emotional. I'm
Hmm.
no longer the person, the beast, the person that it's kind of like Superman. You have now seen me without as Clark Kent. I'm now human. So my question to you, as being a man's man, your husband being that man's man, do you feel he withholds certain emotions because he doesn't want you to see him in that light?
There was a time when he went to therapy a couple times because of his anger, which he thought that he had a lot of anger inside of him, and he didn't want to talk to me about it. He didn't want to burden me with what he had going on.
Told
And
you.
so he went until he thought, okay, I've gotten all I can from this. He's not like a person that goes to, we're not therapy people. We don't go to therapy. And so like, and there was for a long time, I in the back of my head was like, I wonder if it would be good for him to go to therapy because he did have anger issues for a very long time. A lot of that had to do with his sleep. He never slept. And so it just, I don't know I
Compounded.
can't imagine what that would do to a person to not ever be able to sleep. I think that when we're in a relationship, we always want to bring our best to our partner. We want to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. Maybe, and for me, my therapy is going to the gym. And so I take my time. When I go to the gym, I take my time. I work out really hard because that is what makes me feel better when I go home. You know what I mean? That's my therapy. We all, I think, need to do things for ourselves, because when we depend on the other person to always give us that thing that we need, then we're asking too much. Then how do you expect? Okay, for example, I could be going. Just stop me if I'm getting too off the rails.
I will. Or
Okay.
we will. Sorry. I forgot Jordan was still here.
I'm still here. No, I'm just listening.
um but like, I think that we need to be our best version of ourselves, and the best way to do that is to not depend on each other for everything. We have to be able to say, okay, I am not feeling good. What will make me feel? What can I do to make myself feel better? To be more proactive or individually, instead of expecting another person to do something for us. Instead, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm having a bad day, I will take the time by myself to go write in my journal until I feel better. Or I will go and sit and I will think about all the things that I'm grateful for until I'm in a place where I can be the best version of myself, and I'm not asking anybody to give me their energy. I'm not an energy vampire. I don't want to take other people's energy. I want to give energy. And I want to give positive energy. I don't want to make people sad around me, especially my husband. So if
Gotcha.
I have something going on, that doesn't mean I'm going to run to him and ask him to fix it for me. Maybe
So
I'll
then,
just take more time to myself to figure it out. What can I do to be proactive, to make myself better, instead of asking him to give me his energy when he's got his own things going on.
gotcha. So then, this will be my last question to piggyback off of that. Then, if that is the case indeed, how do you know and how do you get through certain circumstances when that communication you have that you've built over the 22 years of let me work on myself and then come back together as a group? But there still has, and I'm curious, how deep does your communication go that you guys continue to stay on that same level? Because as you said, you weren't the same person that you were from Missouri 8th grade. You've completely changed in the some odd years that has been since then.
Mm-hmm.
So can you kind of walk me through that communication that you guys have to make sure you're on that same page? Because vulnerable conversations will come up if both individuals are changing. So I'm curious if you can walk me through how that kind of looks in
You
your
know what
relationship, that is.
Yeah, like, one thing I've really noticed lately is, and this is just my very own, very, very personal little uh something I've noticed. I've Whenever I'm thinking of something that could lead to a hard, or maybe not like a real tough conversation, but maybe an uncomfortable conversation for me, I just don't do it. I just think about it. And it
Wow.
is crazy because it will come up on its own, or it will work itself out on its own, and I'll never have to bring it up. I just think about what it is that's bothering me. I think about, why is it bothering me? And I don't tell him that I'm doing this. I don't say anything to him about it. I just do it in my own head. And then he will say something. He'll bring it up. And I won't even have to say anything. And he may answer my question before I even ask it.
Okay, so
I
it just
don't
means you guys are
force
in
things.
tuned.
Huh?
No, I'm saying it just means that you guys are kind of in tuned.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think we really are. The longer that we're together, the more in tune we are with each other. And I don't even have to say things a lot of times. So it's really working out very well.
So now, based off of all the communication that you've mentioned, here's my biggest question of this whole interview. Take me through the conversation, or take me to the discussion that you and your husband had when you decided to, pivot careers. Because the career you're currently in, I'm sure wasn't the career you started off with in 8th grade, obviously. But take me through how this conversation came up and how you landed in what you doing today.
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear this.
This is good. This is good. This is a good question. So it wasn't a conversation.
Wait. Before we do this, Miss Katrina, let's bring the cat out of the bag.
Okay.
Who are you?
My name is Katrina Thicc, and I am an adult entertainer. I'm an adult content creator.
Yes, she is. And we're going to go ahead and give out her socials at the end. So y'all, we about to get into some juicy juice. All right, so make sure y'all get y'all popcorn. Make sure you get your liquor, whatever you got, because buckle up. We about to get into the thick of things. All right.
Katrina's going to take that and use that as her like next thing in the thick of things.
Let's get into the thick of things.
All right.
I love it.
So take us through the journey and the conversation you had with your husband, the man's man. No, I'm just kidding. Take us through the conversation you had with your husband that you wanted to become an adult content creator.
Well, that's not how it happened.
Oh, well, take us through how it happened. Let's get it.
Get this origin story.
Okay, the origin story. So it started like 20 years ago. And it started with us just being freaky.
I think that's how it always starts. Yee.
Oh, freaky. I want to get freaky with you.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't know Jordan had a voice.
A song on your pocket.
Oh, you ain't know? Jordan used to try to be the next Jodeci. He had a whole group.
Oh, my God. Stop it.
Yeah, he was trying to be the R&B sensation. He was in the front of the TV trying to be Usher, doing the whole spin and the Chris Brown moves in the rain.
All right. I want to hear the origin.
You can dance too? What the?
Oh, he's a multi-talented artist.
Katrina, whenever I see you, we'll talk. But
okay.
Let's hear about the origin story.
Okay, so it started out it really actually just started out with us just deciding to kind of get things, like I said, I was raised Southern Baptist, and I was raised very modestly. So, when you get out of something like that, you kind of go crazy.
You went crazy.
I went crazy.
I know.
Real crazy.
Wait, what is whoa. I'm all about the details. What does crazy mean to you?
Oh, my Lanta. Okay.
I use that saying too.
You say, oh, my Lanta?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was crazy. There was very crazy times. There was college dorm rooms with groups of athletes. There were parties and clubs. I mean, it was. And
insane. Your husband was in there with them, high-fiving Alpha Tower style?
No.
Oh.
But so yeah, that's how it started. It started with us. I would film, and then I would film.
So your husband was holding the tripod.
It's sometimes, I mean, but most of the time not. Most of the time he wasn't there with me whenever I was doing these things, and I would film it and show him. It was fun. And then the internet came along and.
Hold on real quick. So does that mean y'all had a mutual understanding already previously to do you guys doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. I was when you were saying that, I was making sure to give you that light to make sure you weren't being deceitful behind your husband back.
I was not
and remember the trial and tribulations? Because I'm like, I ain't know if if Katrina Thicc was in the dorm room getting thick. So That's why I wanted to make sure that it wasn't painting you in the baddest light. And I'm like, husband was holding the tripod, or was he in the outfit? I was, trying to be inclusive.
Oh, yeah, no, you're like in the dorm room, he was out in the parking lot in the car waiting for me. I was
Gotcha.
upstairs, so um
One more question. How you got these together though? Like, I'm curious now. I'm sure the fans are
Stop
curious.
asking questions. We want to hear the story.
She was about to pass this part, so I'm curious. How did you get these things started? Was it like Craigslist back in the day? Because when I was in college, we had missing opportunities, so I was using that as like faking to be the guy they thought I was. But anyway, that was me tricking the whole school. But what I'm saying is, how did you get to these situations or circumstances?
like I get into all of the situations and circumstances that I find myself in, and it is called just by the seat of my pants. I just fall into these things.
Oh, we fall
Like
into these things.
I literally do. I'll tell you this. Okay, I can tell you exactly how I ended up in a college dorm room. I was in Walmart. I was getting groceries,
Wally World's the
and I
best.
was Jordan. I was in the meat section,
Not the meat
and
section.
The meat section. Yay!
yes,
All right, stop interrupting her. Let her talk.
I was in the meat section, and there was two guys, and they were really cute. So I just kind of looked at them, and I smiled, and they saw me, and I kept walking, and we kind of did that thing where I kind of showed up in front of them a couple times, and then they were checking out. And I was walking up, and I saw them, and I said, "Hey, uh, I know you from work." I just went up to this guy and I was like, "Yeah, hey, do you have my schedule? Do you have my work schedule? I'm sorry, I left the other day without," and I was kind of winking at him. I was like, "I left the other day. I didn't get my work schedule. If I give you my number, when you go back into work, can you text me my work schedule?" He was like, yeah." So I gave him my number, and then he texted me. And then I was like, you and your friend are real cute. He's like, "Why don't you come over sometime?" So I went to their apartment. And
Wait, no,
so,
it's not hands down.
Yeah,
It
what
wasn't a
happened?
thumbs down.
huh?
Oh,
It
you
was
didn't see your
because
screen.
you didn't see your screen. It's fine.
You had a emoji,
Oh,
and yours was like this.
There you go. That's what we want to hear. Go get it.
Yeah,
Woo,
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
All right, continue with the story.
Back to the story.
so there, you guys. So I went to their apartment, and there was just two of them. Okay. So it was just me and them. I had my camera or my phone. It was like I don't remember what kind of phone it was at that time. It may have been one of those flip ones with the keypads.
Ooh, the sidekick. I used to. Ooh, boy, I
Sidekick.
Yeah,
used to make a lot. That's
yeah.
for another
So
time. But ooh.
so I'm there with them for maybe like 25, 30 minutes. We're enjoying ourselves, okay, if you know what I mean. And they get on the phone. Or no, I one of them went into the other room, he was on the phone, and then I hear a knock at the door. And the guy goes, opens the door, like six guys come. They're friends. They invited their friends. And so in all of their friends and me, and I am just, filming, and then there's this guy in front of me and he's huge, and I'm like, "Where did you come from?" Because he's huge. And he's like, "I came from Pine Bluff." And I like, "No, what planet did you come from? Because you're enormous." What? He's like, "I played basketball for the college." I'm like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yes." And then after that time, he's like, "Come to the dorm." And he tells me when. And I went, and then there was a whole like team of basketball players that were there waiting for me. So that was fun.
And
Wow.
your husband was in the parking lot this whole time. Boy, bless his soul. Boy. But that's
So
awesome that. Go ahead. So now that's
yeah.
awesome that you can disclose. Thank you for the details. I like details. Now, take us now through how we got into the modern side like we were before and
Mhm.
continue.
So that during that period of time, there was a website called Adult Space. And I was on that website, and it was kind of like Facebook, but for adult videos. You could post adult videos and make adult posts. So I was on that website, and I became pretty popular on that website. And then um, I started getting messages that people were finding my videos on other websites. And so I didn't realize it, but there was a lot of people stealing my videos and
Oh
putting them on
wow.
different websites. And so, I mean,
Pirates.
yeah, I mean, it just went crazy. And before I know it, I'm like, people are sending me like links, and I go look at LinkedIn, and I see there's 15 comments on an old video that I did. And it's like, who is this? She's a legend. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Dang, not the
What?
legend. Not the legend. She the
The
GOAT.
legend.
That's what they're saying. And I'm like, how do you guys know who I am? And they're like, oh, yeah, bitch. These videos have been stolen for 15 years. Why aren't you making any money off of all of the people watching your fucking
God
video?
damn.
Damn.
That's crazy.
So that's when I made an OnlyFans. It was when OnlyFans first started.
That's what's up. So
Mm-hmm.
now that
I
you were
love
a
that
legend,
pivot.
now that you were a legend in this game and your name rings bells, I mean, people out
Big
here
facts.
just shoo. You got your own category, Miss Thick.
Thick.
Anyhow, so my question it begs to this:
Mm-hmm.
when you went into having say this, was this a discussion that you and your husband had, and you were like, and he was just like, yeah, I'd love to see it. How did the first video happen? Now you don't need to take me to what was on the scene, but I mean, like, how did the conversation happen that led to the first video or led to the first scene that he found out this is what he's interested in, or you guys are interested in?
Well, I'll tell you. The first thing when I realized that this is something that I was interested in, we didn't record it. It was just me and him and a guy that he worked with. And it was my first time, and I loved it. I loved it. I was not nervous. I never had sex with anybody else.
Yeah, because you
Wow.
got
And then
married in 8th grade. Makes sense.
I didn't get married
Shut
in eighth
up.
grade, you goofball.
Shut up.
but it was fun. I was not nervous. I didn't feel self-conscious. It was so weird. Like, I just did it, and it was so easy, and it didn't hurt our relationship at all.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So at that point, I'm like, okay, like, this is what. But I have to be honest, like, honestly, because I was raised so religious and with so much guilt. Southern Baptist is very guilty kind of religion. You feel guilty for everything. And so, or I did anyway. And so for a long time, I felt guilty about what I do. And I really had to change my perspective on it, and, um, and not look at it as a sin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with doing sin. I mean, shoot. Isn't that why the Lord was there to forgive us, is for us to make sins? I mean,
Only a
that's what I'm
heathen
here
will say
doing.
that.
Hey, and I
That's
know I'm a
only
heathen.
a
I'm
heathen.
going to hell on gasoline boat with gasoline draws on and a full ride scholarship, however you want to put it.
Oh no. Oh no.
You can tell I've left the church.
I don't
Clearly.
believe in hell. So
Shit.
that's how I live my life.
Look, that's good, but I have to believe I got to go somewhere because I ain't going to heaven.
Yes, you are.
No, he's not. He won't be there, Katrina.
You don't know me.
Trust me. He won't be there. We've already had a conversation. If we died, that I'll be looking down at him like, sorry, buddy.
I've had a few girls say that I'm a walking devil. And
Well,
that's
Look
okay.
at him.
we all have a purpose, you know. Maybe that's yours.
I'm the devil
Maybe that's your
in
purpose
black
for this
excellence.
lifetime.
All right. So before we wrap it up, my last and final question. Now that you've been an OG into this game, who would be Katrina Thicc if Katrina Thicc wasn't Katrina Thicc right now?
Who would Katrina be if she wasn't Katrina Thicc?
That's a better way of putting it.
He made it so much easier than you
I
did.
know, right?
You know,
I'm glad you tickled.
I would
Sorry.
still be me. I would still be myself. I might actually be a little less a version of me. Like, I feel like because of the life that I've lived has made me a brighter light. You know, like I have so much more confidence than I ever could have ever imagined that I would. I feel more healthy than I ever could have imagined that I would. I am so happy, and you know, I will say that I would still be myself, but I would probably be doing something like nursing or teaching.
Okay.
You know.
What would you tell your younger self, your younger version of you, to do different?
Nothing. I wouldn't say anything to who I was. I wouldn't say anything to my younger self.
You walk right past her.
Not even tell her, hey, maybe start posting them on paid sites early. No, just kidding.
That would be the only thing.
Like, they stealing from you, bitch. Just go. Stop.
That would be it.
All right. And then my last question to you. And the question just left my mind, so never mind. It wasn't an important question.
I have a question.
Jordan,
I have a question.
there you go.
No. All right. Katrina, this one's gonna be pretty tough, all right?
Oh, okay.
When are you gonna come see us?
Well, who's gonna take care of my chickens? Why don't you guys just come here?
Oh.
I'll get you an Airbnb.
Ooh,
Not a bad idea.
That brings me to our last episode. If she flies you out, damn it. If she flies you out.
Don't worry about this. Let me get slutted out, all right? All right? Let me get slutted out. Don't pay this no attention, all right?
All right, Katrina, go ahead and shout out your socials. Katrina, go ahead and shout out your socials and where people can find you.
All right, you can find me on X at Katrina Thicc, THICC, and on Instagram at the Katrina Thicc, and on OnlyFans at Katrina Thicc. Thank you very much, guys.
You don't follow me on Instagram. We need to fix that.
Oh, we do. We're definitely, for sure.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, do that.
Right.
Send it to me.
Well, you don't follow me anywhere, and that's okay, because, you know.
Well, it was very nice meeting you.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It was very nice
coming back.
meeting.
She's not coming back after your stupid questions.
No, she gonna come back. She enjoyed every single last one of my questions.
I did. I enjoyed them. I did. They were great.
I know. Everybody enjoys me. Anyways, so.
All right, let's wrap this up.
But everyone, I appreciate y'all joining in. I appreciate the Katrina Thicc for hopping in and talking about her background and even her spicy stories. That's going to live rent-free in my mind for a while. So while they doing that, I'll go ahead and close it out. This has been a fantastic episode of Two Shades of Black. I'm X.
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katrina.
Hi.
We'll see y'all next time.